Hello, everybody. We're getting started a little bit early this morning and a little, what is it, at 10 o'clock. So it's almost 2 hours from now, or an hour and a half. I'll be talking with my buddy Shane and my buddy Arturo. I haven't talked to those two. Hi, Christine. Lulu, good to see you. Haven't talked to Shane and Arturo for a little while. I talked to Arturo like 2 weeks ago. I love getting in touch with those guys, and we've just got a lot to talk about. So I haven't been on Rise Together in a little bit. This is my other newsletter. My other one is called I'd Rather Be Writing. That's my bigger newsletter. That's where I've been interviewing all these congressional candidates. And I just kind of wanted to get up this morning and get my thoughts together. I'd been thinking of jumping in on this live again. I'd like to answer your questions, all you wonderful people. Richard, Steven, Jawar, good to see all you guys here. I'd like to get up in the morning and answer your questions, but I want to tell you about what's happened. Good morning, bees. Free verse. This week, last Sunday, it's astonishing how long these weeks feel and how fast they go by. Both those things can be true at the same time. And on Sunday, I was just kind of got mad. I'm just like, we really do need to be interviewing these congressional candidates. And I've been doing it for several months. I've been doing it for, since last summer. I was interviewing, the first one was Laura Benjamin, who I met at the cultural fair in Eau Claire, Wisconsin last June or July. And I interviewed her. She's since dropped out of that congressional race, but I've gone on to get to know Emily Berge. I've interviewed Francesca Hong. I've interviewed Ginger Murray, all these different candidates. And yesterday I was talking to John Lucione. I'm interviewing progressive candidates all over the United States. So my title today is A Congressional Candidate, a Creator, and You. And the reality is I know what I'm doing right now is unsustainable. Good morning, Courtney. It's unsustainable. I'm really, really, really tired. I'm so tired. I'm going to take my rest tomorrow. A lot of people have been telling me, but it's like at the same time, nobody's coming to save us. We got to do it. And I need everybody to just rouse themselves. And actually, it's astonishing because in this last week, so much has happened. So much has happened. Yeah, thank you, Courtney. And I will. I will be offline tomorrow, I promise. I do have to schedule a couple things. Today's going to be a busy day. I'll schedule stuff. I have to do my end of the week summary, but I'll do minimal things over the weekend. Although I am talking with Neurodivergent on Sunday, so it is. And my next week doesn't look as busy as this week, and I'll tell you why. It's because I proposed this initiative because last Sunday I was getting angry. All right, what does this say? How is your campaign going to convince the other commentators to introduce Substack to progressive candidates? Have you been in contact with David Hogue? Honestly, that's a great question. I'll get to that. I've sent David Hogue messages, but he's essentially doing the same thing I'm doing already. Yeah, end of the week, Jason. And so what I'm doing is appealing to these other creators, the people I actually have contact with. It's easy to spin your wheels and wait for David Hogue, but David Hogue's doing great work. He says, I understand the pressure, but we have to take care of ourselves. Yes, I promise I will rest. In the evenings, after 5, the phone's down, I'm pretty good about it. And I enjoy my time with my kids, and my kids are saving me. But let me keep going. So on Sunday, I'm like, why aren't more people doing this? This is clearly what Substack should be doing. If we're going to be the alternative media, we have to be different from regular media and legacy media. And there's a reason that legacy media does not cover primaries. It's because legacy media is owned by the same oligarchs that own politics. And so they allow oligarchs to rig primaries. Let's just say it. That's what they do. We know that they do it. And what's come clear as I've been interviewing all these progressive candidates is the ones that are, hello, Art B3ing, the candidates that start developing some momentum, they get this grassroots campaign. Once it really starts looking like they're making an impact, prominent Democrats call them and tell them to quit, which is anti-democratic. It's complete bullshit. That's blue MAGA. And they are relying on this kind of established norm where our politicians, first, they don't talk to us. They don't treat us like we're human beings. And there's a lot of very intelligent people who are seeing what's going on right now, and we have thoughts, and they need to be talking to us. But they've established this precedent where the political leaders are insulated. They don't talk to us. I started this by trying to talk to actually sitting candidates, and since they want to talk, I'm going to talk to the progressive challengers. And by God, we're going to get some of those progressive challengers in seats. I am personally going to make sure that happens. And you guys are going to help. And you all, because you all want to help, and you all already are helping. There's more we can do. And so last week I was just kind of passively doing this, and a lot of times these ideas kind of formulate and they grow and they evolve in our thoughts and our actions. And so on Sunday, I was like, why aren't more people doing this? This is independent media. We have a chance, right? Like ESPN got started because they were covering sports the rest of the media didn't cover, like Australian rules football. You can create the narrative, and that's why we have independent media. One of the big problems, though, is about 8 months ago, we got all these old school legacy journalists who come to Substack bringing their old school legacy mentality, and that's by design. And because people are kind of trained and indoctrinated, they flock to celebrity. And these old school guys like, well, we want click rate, and this is just not how it's done, But how it's done is what got us here. So I need to tell everybody, be deliberate in supporting the creators who are doing something different. You're so kind, Courtney. What a lovely comment that is. I really appreciate that. Courtney says, you're a national treasure. I'm going to read that out loud. I hope it was referring to me. Maybe it was to somebody in the comments. But I'll just take it as a compliment because you need to. And we have to shake this off. And they're getting really afraid. And I'm seeing more and more people kind of take up this argument. I've been talking about Blue MAGA. And that is where the enemy is. People keep saying, well, worry about that once we've defeated the fascists. And it's like, no, you got to do it the other way. Thank you, Courtney, for confirming that. We have to do it the other way. We have to establish an opposition to fascism. We have to fight back against fascism. And we've got all these Blue MAGA, and they're the ones who told lies to Kamala Harris because it's becoming increasingly obvious that there are problems with our elections. And again, that ties right into the Republican arguments. All they ever talk about, they want to push the SAVE Act because they claim the elections aren't fair. We get to respond to their arguments, say, okay, Republicans are saying, thank you, Courtney. Republicans are saying that the elections aren't fair, so we get to respond and say, okay, let's do audits. Let's check the voting machines. Let's go through. And then the Republicans would be like, no, we don't want that. We just want to suppress the vote. But what we have is Blue MAGA. They're passive, and they're just like, come on, Walter, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Like, they're the responsible ones. They want me to comply. And then you see somebody like Mamdani win a primary. They try to sabotage him. I mean, let's just say what's happening, people. We have to. We can't act like the Democrats are helping us. They are clearly not. Art says all members of the current GOP office are guilty of treason. I think a lot of the Blue MAGA representatives are guilty of treason too. No response during an ongoing crisis paves the way for more of the same. Yeah, the Courtneys are taking over. Awesome. Well, good. We want Courtneys in charge. Vote Courtney. What I'm saying is there's a reason, and I was talking about this week. When the oligarch media doesn't like something, they don't write an article and say this idea, then this is bad. When they don't like something, they disregard it entirely. And that's why I'm kind of in this space for people that want to pay attention to me. They don't want to hear these things I have to say. And again, they don't want to answer me and try to contradict me. They just want people to not even know I exist. They want to encapsulate the entire population to have option A or option B without knowing that there's options C through infinity that we could be embracing. And so this is what everybody really needs to do. You need to, and it's something that I've constantly worked on. We have to shake off that conditioning. Number one, there are all these truths that disprove the narratives that the Democrats want to shove down our throat when they talk about their blue no matter who. Great, that sounds good. Then they turn around and they don't support Mamdani. We can't just disregard that fact that they do not abide by their beliefs. And we have to be able to challenge them on those things. But again, the established representatives will not come and talk to us, the ones currently in office. So we have to go out and talk to these progressive challengers. And the advantage of talking, this has been my plan the whole time. You talk to the progressive challengers, there will be debates between the candidates in the primaries. Then our ideas start getting onto the mainstream. our ideas are very much getting into the mainstream now. It is slow. It is as slow as erosion, but my friends, it is happening. It is as slow as growth, but it is changing. And the way people perceive things today is astonishingly different than it was 6 months ago or a year ago and 2 years ago. Ongoing. So what I've been saying is one congressional candidate, one creator, and you. And so this is what I was doing this week. I would invite a congressional candidate on because there's so many wonderful people that I want to talk to and I haven't had the chance to talk to yet in lives. I really do. All you guys. And this is a way to do this. The more we can just break through and get people in the habit of interviewing all these progressive challengers, the more empowered people are to make good decisions. Nikki says, I'm paying attention, but I reply, it's baking bread morning and I have flour everywhere and I don't want it on my phone. Oh, well, I understand, Nikki. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So this is what I've been doing because it is a little intimidating the very first time you interview a congressional candidate. I remember feeling kind of jittery about it when I talked to Laura Benjamin the first time. She was really kind and we had a wonderful talk. And so it's easier if I'm there and another creator's there. That expands our audience. And then we have the candidate. And then that creator who I walked them through a couple interviews, and then that other creator can go, and then they become the primary live streamer. They can invite another creator and they can invite a different congressional candidate or one I've already talked to. We need to keep having these conversations. And I want this to expand. So in the course of a week, I mean, I've already seen Eric Lulov. He did an interview with Shelby Campbell. Great. And I didn't even have to walk Eric through an interview. I mean, he's already doing it. I did an interview this week with Margaret Williams and John Lucioni. And hopefully now, all you have to do then is one day a week, interview one candidate, and bring in another creator and then have that person do it. You see how this exponentially rises, then there's 2, then there's 4, then there's 8. And all of a sudden, all of Substack, it becomes a Substack trend. Thank you, Deidre. Oh my goodness, Deidre, you'd be so good at interviewing these candidates. And I mean, this is how we seize power. This is how it's grassroots. And again, we have to change that. Yeah. And oh goodness, Courtney, the scheduling help me. The scheduling takes so much of my effort and time. I need help. I need your help, everybody. I'm not proud. I'm not too proud to admit it. I'm so tired. And I keep messing up the freaking time zones every time. I don't know why. It's like I keep thinking I'm smart and then I can't get time zones straight. But okay, all those are details. The big thing, it's like, don't be overwhelmed. And again, there's 435 congressional seats. And sometimes there can be 30 people running. And all of those people deserve to have their positions heard. And our media should be covering them. It is an abdication of their responsibility that they are not covering them. And again, it's because our media is bought and paid for by the same cruel oligarchs that are in the Epstein files and that own our government. They're all in on it. This is why we have independent media. The people have come here not knowing why they came. They just know that something is wrong. We're acting entirely on instinct at this point. Everything I'm doing, I don't have a plan. I'm just trying to work as hard as I can. Thank you, Courtney. Courtney says, got you covered. We'll get you the next broadband or calendar to help you track. Thank you. And we'll just organize it. But then we have to follow up. And all you guys can do so many important things. Write your articles. And again, it doesn't matter if you have, don't think that any follower count. There's Margaret. Margaret came on with me yesterday. I'm talking about our wonderful thing. And we had a really engaging discussion with John Lucioni yesterday. Super important. He talked a lot about election integrity because we know, but I mean, we can get around it because this is what I've kind of been starting to understand. I mean, they're very selective in how they influence how they influence our elections. They're selective in how they influence. And obviously, I mean, it's almost as if the Democrats have predetermined what election interference would look like. And because they don't see the thing that they expect to see, they're just like, let's just completely dismiss that. Well, naturally, they're doing all these different strategies and tactics. Again, I'll mention when Lance Armstrong was talking about how he rigged the Tour de France. It was never the same process in every. Naturally, he's trying to not get caught. Naturally, right? There's some things we can deduce must be in existence and just know that it's true. And so the Republicans constantly are using different strategies of election rigging. And those include the SAVE Act. They include gerrymandering. They include dismantling the post office in addition to stopping mail-in votes. It's all in front of your eyes. And once you make just the conscious decision to be aware that the Republican Party cheats, they cheat at elections. They have no respect for the will of the people, the entire party. And then we have blue MAGA Democrats who just don't want to talk about it. They're like the enabler spouse, that just doesn't, I'm just going to pretend that doesn't happen. Oh, Jason froze. I hope I'm still going. I hope it didn't freeze for anybody else. And so once but this is going to be slow pressure as we slowly convince other people to take this up. We can change how we do our arguments. And I mean, the rhetoric is so important. They get nervous. And this is a big reason why the establishment Democrats don't want to sit down and talk to me, because I just have this habit of presenting it in a way they can't wriggle away from. But more and more people are awakening to this reality. I do want to say something really good happened this week. I hope I say his name right. Ro Khanna, the senator, he endorsed for Wisconsin's gubernatorial election. He endorsed Francesca Hong. And I interviewed Francesca Hong back in January. That is one of my favorite interviews. She astounded me. She's fantastic. And so what we're seeing already it's happening, people. Be excited. I mean, there's plenty of stuff to be worried about. I give you permission to be excited, and I give you permission to just work your ass off, because if nothing else, we're just, you'll sleep good at night because you'll be freaking tired, because I'm tired every day. But also, we're seeing things happen. Yeah, and share that. Repeatedly share that interview. People have to see that interview with me and Francesca Hong, because we can have candidates like that. And now, I mean, she's presumably talked to Ro Khanna. So it's sort of like this is that process I'm telling you about. It's already happening. And there are some good Democrats in office right now. There are some good ones who are going to help. And there are others that can be pressured. And I think, and I keep saying, I think Kamala, I have trust in Kamala. I think she falls into that category. You look at her, and more and more, the people I talk with, you look in their faces, you can see integrity, you can see authenticity. I see in Kamala Harris a compassionate person. And I understand that people are mad at her. But I think she was in that bubble, and that's that establishment bubble where they don't talk to other people. They pretend like we're like a completely different class. That's working within the system. And my perception of reality in 2024 is different than my perception today. I believe she's a person that I sent Kamala Harris a message. I think a lot of you saw it because you restacked it. I'm just like, hey, come and talk to me, which she should be doing. And we're not quite at that point yet, right? That would be jumping forward. But over the next couple weeks, love that interview. I have several times. Oh, good, great. B's been sharing the interview with Francesca Hong. Fantastic. Yeah, keep sending it. The more people that see it, the more people get excited. Incremental, and we're in that mindset of something has to happen now and it has to be visible. And if it's not, it's a failure. That's not the way reality works. It's cracks in the dam that eventually cause the dam to topple. And that's what we're working. We're all making cracks. Okay. And just keep at it, folks. And like I said, as we make it the steps, there's a lot of different ways we can influence this. There's a lot of different things you can do to push this along. And just pressuring the big creators to say, hey, interview a couple candidates or interview me. That would be fine. I can talk about this. I'm going to be talking about this all day today. At 10, I'm talking with Shane and Arturo. At noon, I'm talking with Kate Justice today. And then at 1:30, I'm talking with Ben Ulancy and Sugar Ree. I'm talking. She's kind of new to live, so I'm trying to appeal to her. I've been reaching out to a lot of creators with big followings and just saying, hey, join me. And your visibility will help us give visibility to these candidates. And honestly, it's not helping me financially, because I think a lot of the wonderful people end up supporting these candidates. It's like, okay, good. Support these candidates. I need my support too. I appreciate it if you guys can afford it. But I mean, you're looking long term. What we need is universal health care. We need universal education. We have to end the corruption. And that requires getting these good progressive candidates in. One of the interviews I did this week, because Natasha Kay was with me on an interview, and it was with that I have to say her name, like Elduina English. We were both in tears in that interview because Elduina English is not taking any donations. I'm just like, okay. And she's running entirely in support of children and the disabled. I think she has a child with some developmental issues, and she was so emotional about how this is the group of people that is always left behind. They're always hit the hardest by the cruelty of these Republican regimes. She is using volunteers. She's having children run her campaign. And I thought about it. I'm like, that's so brilliant. It's so brilliant because she is showing, yes, and she is showing kids that politics is not just for people with money. And I mean, politics is for regular people. And all the progressive candidates that talk to me show that too. Politics is for regular people. Because, friends, the reality is the establishment is terrified of us. They couldn't be more scared than they are right now. These rich people who have always had it easy, these cruel people, they know it's all a lie. They don't have any power. And if the people rise up and rise together and passively, peacefully, but we just ask for fairness. We just want to live. We don't want extreme things. We want a couple days off, time to spend with our kids. We're happy to do work. We do all the work. They've just gone too far. The ruling class, the oligarch class. Yeah, I think I posted it already. Did I post that one? I am so behind on getting my posts out. I think it is live, though. I think Natasha posted a version of it. Yeah, I haven't seen Melania. Honestly, I don't have time to listen to people like I don't even know how to say her name, Melania. I don't have time to listen to that. I don't have time to listen to the established sitting Republicans. I don't have time to sit and listen to the new do-nothing Democrats. I'm too busy interviewing the new generation of progressive candidates. All that's a distraction. Everything that they are most afraid of the primaries. They are terrified of the primaries. I'm going to say that 6 more times. They are terrified of the primaries, everybody. That's why nobody covers it. They don't cover the primary because they're terrified, because we can vote them all out now. Forget the midterms. Everybody, please forget the midterms. Vote your heart in the primaries. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can vote in a whole, if it's one progressive candidate, it's a win. If we get 10 progressive candidates, it's huge. If we start looking at getting in 50 or 100 progressive candidates, the government is ours and change happens. And again, there's Neural. Good to see Neural. Again, I keep saying that we can't allow them to coerce us into disregarding the facts that disprove their narrative. The current generation of Democratic leaders did nothing for us. We gave them all the power they needed. We got them the presidency, the House. We got them the Senate, and they had it in 2021. They did nothing. This group of elected representatives is not going to help us after the midterms. They are not. They are just sitting there treading water. Many of them are just as corrupt as the Republicans. They're just waiting to see how this plays out. And if we make the mistake of allowing the same corrupt Democrats to win primaries, we're screwed. Because it doesn't matter if we have a blue wave if it's all the same people, because they won't do anything again. Now is the time for us to shake off the conditioning of the legacy media and the conditioning of tradition that was imposed upon us by rich people who want to control all systems. And we, the people on these platforms like Substack, but any platform, we can interview progressive candidates. We can get people talking about them. We can activate the population so that they know they can go out and seize back our government. That Edwina English, who is showing kids that they can participate. They just have to fill out some forms. It doesn't cost all that much. You need some signatures. Now you're on the ballot. Now you have a legitimate reason to talk to people, and all we have to do is go and talk to them. Those of us who are small creators, there is no more important work you can be doing right now than to go out there and interview congressional candidates. And you don't even have to, don't ask them about policy. Miss says, you have to pick candidates that are not bought by AIPAC or nothing will change. Absolutely correct. And that's what we ask them. Are you taking AIPAC money? And there are so many, but you kind of can tell instantly just by the fact that they'll come and talk to you, because the AIPAC paid for ones will not talk to us. They think they can win through money alone because they own social media, they own network television. What we have is the numbers. We have integrity. We can go face to face and talk to people, and that's going to win. It is. Mamdani showed you can win these elections with a fraction of the money. What did he have? 10% of what his opponents had? This is where the fight is, everybody. The fight is now. Do not wait for the midterms. The fight is the primaries, and I wish I'd kind of figured it out a little sooner, but this is going to be ongoing because primaries happen every couple years. We always have to get in these new candidates, and this momentum is growing. And once we kind of establish, and just in this week, honest to God, because last Sunday I was frustrated because not enough people were helping me, and just in this week, but I had help. Nick Paro has interviewed candidates with me. Melissa Corrigan has interviewed candidates with me. I have to yet take the next step where I'm encouraging them to find another candidate and another creator and to keep expanding. But I didn't really even start talking about this till yesterday. So I guess I can't get frustrated. This idea occurred to me yesterday during a live. I wrote down the notes and I'm just like, one candidate, one creator, and we're going to keep going forward. Those of us who have experience. And again, that citizens impeachment group, Kira Havens, she already has links to I think it's up to 150 candidates now. And since I talked to her, that was 2 weeks ago. I've been getting all these requests from all these courage candidates, the ones that say on day one, I will vote to impeach. That is what they are running on. But we also have to just start throwing things back at the DNC a little bit more. We have to have some pressure because the DNC needs to change their attitude about election integrity. Because they're just pretty content to allow the Republicans to steal our elections. They are not out there fighting. We had guys, there are Democrats who voted for the SAVE Act. Cuellar was the last one to vote for it. I think there were more the previous time it was up in the House. We can't have that. We have to have pressure against those guys. Cuellar, unfortunately, already won his primary. So we're stuck with that guy next time around. But we can apply pressure and we can get new people in there. We need a whole change in Democratic leadership. Really, folks. We need to change it. We just have to have, competency in there. And this is what it's going to be. This is it, everybody. The primaries are it. And I think you can, all the other stuff is super important. The war, they're killing people. They're murdering people. ICE is abducting people. There's the Epstein files. The primaries is how we fight back. The primaries, everybody. It has to be the primaries. We will not see change if we elect the same Democrats. We will not see change if we elect the same Democrats. I can't say this enough. And again, there are a couple good ones, and we're not going to win all these races. So just don't even worry about that. But there is this enormous, enormous, enormous power in just changing the dialogue. And I'm a writer. I didn't know what it meant to be a writer prior to this year. I've been a writer all my life. I didn't understand the power of being a writer until this year. And we do change the narrative slowly, like erosion. And I have been, in my entire existence, considered way out on the extreme end. There are a lot of people who know who I am now. A lot of my ideas are floating around out there. I don't need to have credit for it. I am just excited. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about Blue Mega. I'm seeing people, and people are too. They're coming to the same conclusion I am independently. Awesome. That's fantastic. Less work for me. Because again, this whole concept of we need, the whole wealth concept, the white supremacy concept, it's all lies. We don't need that. We need a shared collective movement. We need to help our communities. Your weirdo friend talks about it a lot. We got to build community. And for me, building community means I find a congressional candidate. I bring a creator to increase the audience. We interview that candidate. The candidate continues to canvass their district. The creator I brought in brings in new candidates and a new creator. We keep growing. We keep growing. I brought in Frederick Pogue this week. I think people are not quite understanding yet this movement. We're in the early. This is brand new. This is a brand new option. I haven't spent any time talking about this yet, except for briefly mentioning it yesterday. But all you sitting here listening to me, please, one time, this is all I'm asking. One day a week, try to interview a progressive congressional candidate. Make it on your platform. Then we can just start normalizing these rational discussions where we don't let the radical right dictate how we talk about things. The radical right always creates, Deidre says, we're building the plane while we fly. We absolutely are. But the radical right and the oligarch media, they always present everything as a choice between two extremes that are a false choice. And so no matter what you choose, we end up losing. Again, the Democrats have been calling up grassroots candidates who are developing a following and pressuring them to withdraw from these primaries. That is anti-democratic. We have to call the Democrats out on this. They have to stop pressuring candidates to quit. Districts should be choosing their representatives. And if these Democrats want to do that, they can do it openly and transparently. But here's the fact, everybody. Primaries are healthy. Congressional primaries are healthy. Anything the Democrats say against primaries is absolutely bullshit. And they always have funds to run a challenger to AOC, don't they? So they don't practice what they preach anyway. And that's another one of those facts they want us to disregard because it disproves their narrative. I'll say this a million times. Congressional primaries are a great way to get name recognition. We have to help. We're independent media. Get name recognition for all these wonderful people with brilliant ideas. People like Eldwina English, who says, let's just help kids. And John Liccione is running on that too. Let's help kids. Currently, so many people have been brainwashed into thinking, well, that's just unrealistic. It's not unrealistic. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for us to get there, but it'll happen fast. We got 62 people. That should be 62 candidate interviews. Okay. I don't mean to pressure you like that. I know a lot of you have contributing in different ways, so I don't mean to pressure you if you're really camera shy or whatever. That's fine. But those of you who do feel comfortable talking, or you know somebody, here's the thing you can do. If you know other people who are creators, you could pressure those creators. You could share this video with them. And we could share this idea, share this movement. I don't need to have ownership of this movement. We have to do this. All the people have to talk. Again, I'm just going to summarize it because a few more people have come in. My idea is one congressional candidate, one creator, and you. So you invite in a congressional candidate, you invite in a creator, you do an interview, and then that new creator that you invited in goes off to do other interviews with other candidates. When I've been reaching out to these candidates, and again, I'll send out 10, I'll get one response. Don't worry about imposter syndrome. That's just normal. And I keep it short and sweet. I say I do this Substack podcast. I want to talk to progressive candidates. This is free. All you need is a free Substack. Here's an example. And I give them the example of the interview that I've done. So I want to help more creators have these video links that they can share. And so then people have an idea what they're getting into. But you're going to find that these progressive candidates are delighted. I don't have a template, Courtney. I'm just, like I said, presenting it this way is less than 24 hours old. And like Deidre said, yeah, we're building the plane while we fly. That's a great idea. I mean, Courtney, all of you, write down your version of this template. Summarize what I'm saying. Me writing a post, and I will do that, and that gets a certain amount of visibility, but 65 now in this chat writing the same thing gets more visibility. Link to me, link to the citizens impeachment. And you're going to find these candidates are delighted. They're delighted. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Like I said, this is brand new. Everything I'm doing is entirely just off the cuff at this point. It's all just intuition. I haven't thought anything through. I'm just trying to, as quickly as an idea occurs to me, I get out there and share it. I keep speaking. I'm freaking tired. This week, the number of hours of interviews I did, it's a lot. All right, Catherine says we definitely need progressive candidates in California. The community is so much more. I interviewed what was his name? Joel Lava. He's running in California this week. I haven't published that interview yet. I've interviewed Chris Bennett. I interviewed him here. Yes, and so share those interviews. There's all these ways we can get visibility. You have to share them on your socials. There's so much we can do. And this is the thing: if you're just sitting around fretting and you're angry that the Democrats aren't doing enough, do this. Disregard the Democrats. Talk to the progressive candidates, because those progressive candidates will eventually be on a debate stage with the ones that are in office already, and maybe we can pressure them to change, and then we vote them out. Neurodivergent says, I asked my state rep, who is in her first term, to come on to Mindhaven. Great, thank you, but I will try to find someone yet to be in office to be interviewed. The ones who are in office are great too. They're state representatives. I've been focusing on the congressional race, but yeah, talking to state representatives, talking to governors, all of that is important. And like I said, Ro Khanna just endorsed Francesca Hong. And so, as this goes, I'm going to reach out to Francesca Hong again. I want to see if I can get an interview with Francesca Hong and Ro Khanna. I'll just do it. What hurt? Oh, I hit my mic. I hope it didn't cut out. What hurt? What does it hurt to ask? And because they remember though too. I mean, on the first days, these progressive candidates, when nobody's heard about them, when you reach out to them and say, hey, here's your first thing, and then they get a little bit more visibility, they're going to remember that. They're going to remember that. I've spent the most amount of time talking with Emily Berge. I talked to her this week on the Daily Whatever. The Daily Whatever has been great about this. I've been sending a lot of candidates to them. But again, there is this issue we're up against, and that issue is the establishment media, legacy media doesn't cover primaries because then they can control the primary. It's a lot easier to buy both candidates in a primary than it is to rig a general election, okay? So part of this whole election rigging problem is that we have a false choice. We, the people, should determine who represents us. We, the people, shouldn't have to bow down to the pressure from the Democrats to have our candidates, our preferred candidates, withdraw. And we have to expose that. We have to make the Democrats stop doing that. There's so many different aspects here. There's so many ways this works for us. Maybe the most important one is just because it gives you a sense of activism. You're doing something positive. You're fighting back. All of you watching. I'm going to read a couple of these questions. Proud of Wisconsin. Finally. Oh, man. Francesca, please. I really want Francesca Hong to be the governor. She's not yet the candidate, but she's been leading the polls. Oh, she's awesome. Share that interview I did with her as much as you can on many socials as you can. Share them multiple times. You can share them 20 times a day. Share. And people will see it. And then they can't ignore us. They have it established where we just don't talk. We just don't participate. We withdraw. And that's what we have to overcome. Shake it off. Get out there and be part of this. And it's cracks in the dam. We're going to knock the dam down. Bethany Mann. Yep. Nora says, Maxine Dexter is going to be in my hometown in June for its tiny new chapter of Indivisible. Yeah, talking to those groups is important. We'll keep it going. And you guys, and I was doing like my reflection. Everything changes so much, and it's like, sometimes I'll be mad, and I'm just like, wait, I just came up with that idea like a half hour ago. Why am I mad that other people haven't adopted it? It's like, yeah, I literally haven't told anybody yet, but I guess I'm mad other people haven't thought about it yet. But again, did you see that video yesterday, the award to the congressman from Wisconsin? I didn't. I don't know what you're referring to, Millie. Which congressman? So put that in if you have that. But I think we do have good people. Like we're seeing Ro Khanna. He endorsed Francesca. And if he's willing to start participating in that, they got to know that these legacy media positions are not there. Oh, I saw that. Yeah, the Insider Trader Award. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, wasn't that to Mark Wayne Mullen though? They sent the Insider Trader. That was to Mark. He's not. Is he? I can't remember where he's from. He's not from here, is he? Oh, maybe he is. That's all I know. And we can't expect to be on top of it. I mean, I can't name all 435 representatives right now. But let me tell you another thing. And this story made me happy. When I was interviewing, Ro is stepping up. They're figuring it out. Okay, he's from Oklahoma. Ro is figuring it out. And that's because of us. Honest to God, it's because of us. It didn't go from my mouth to Ro's ears. It didn't happen like that. But it went from me to maybe Francesca to him. It's happening. And these people, I've been talking to Lisa Hamline, and she's in Texas. She's doing great work. I'm really inspired every time I see her. I should, I haven't seen her in the chat. If I'd have seen her, I'd have invited her. I haven't talked to her in a while. I want to talk to her because she was, everybody's going through these periods of just being exhausted and being frustrated and being sad. The Democrats aren't, the current generation, the current crop of representatives is not going to save us. We have to vote them out. We don't, and they frustrate us. We're feeling frustrated because we feel we have to have loyalty for this current crop of Democrats. Like, what alternative is there? The alternative is the progressives running in the primaries and the ones that are willing to talk to me. And that's another thing I want to say. Everybody who comes and talks to me, all these progressive candidates, the first thing I say is thank you for being a member of the new generation of representatives that's willing to talk to just a regular person like me. Because we can't have representatives who refuse to talk to the people. CM says Lev Parnas is organizing massive petition project leaders demanding action. I know Lev talks a lot with Nick and Nick Paro. I do a lot of talks with Nick. I have not yet talked to Lev. I know some people have some questions about Lev, and I would like to talk to him about those things because he's got. But I want to appeal to him too. And the one thing I'll give Lev credit for is he has always platformed people like Ellie Leonard. And so we know a lot of the work she does because of Lev. Hey, and somebody says, I am so disappointed you're not interviewing David Hogg. I've reached out to David Hogg multiple times. I love David Hogg. David Hogg's doing the same thing I'm doing. So don't be disappointed in me. I have reached out to him. He's really busy. And honestly, when you stop and think about it, I'm already doing what David Hogg's doing. So, I mean, maybe our efforts, we got limited amount of time right now. So yeah, I am 100% in favor of David Hogg. He's got a much bigger platform than I do. I would talk to him anytime he wants to talk. But yeah, and I am really frustrated with Nancy Pelosi. I think she is one of the most prominent blue MAGA, and I think we shouldn't feel like we should be apologizing for her actions. She attacks Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez every chance he gets. We don't have time for that. Why does she have energy to attack Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with everything that's going on right now? So I hope I answered your question. I absolutely love David Hogg. But I also understand I'm not going to be angry at him because he's doing what I'm doing already. He figured it out before I did. So, yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love to. Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Like I said, I sent out a message to Kamala Harris yesterday, and I hope we can pressure her because she's got to understand that those blue MAGA faction within the Democratic Party, the ones that told her to not contest this questionable election, that's all blue MAGA. They're sabotaging us. And we're fools if we vote for them again in primaries. We have to take them out and, legally with the primary process and put in people that are actually willing to stand up against corruption, because we do not have a government. We do not have a Democratic Party that stands up against corruption. We absolutely don't. Oh, I've talked with Lev. You know what? I've sent him a couple messages. People are making funny assumptions here. I've reached out to all these people. So don't assume because I haven't talked to somebody, it's not because I don't want to. I've reached out to Adam Kinzinger. If he wants to, I don't like Adam Kinzinger, but if he starts interviewing progressive candidates, then I would like him. I've reached out to all these people. Guys, shake off the divisive mindset. Make the assumption that I am doing this. I have. I just said I did. Again, why are you saying this? Ask him then. Send him a copy of your show. I have done that. Do not assume that I have not done that. All right. Neuro says, you continue to impress me. Thank you, Neuro. I've asked. Yeah. We assume everybody would want to. Yeah. Courtney says, we assume everybody would want to talk to you. They absolutely don't. They are scared to death of me. I even talked to, when I was talking to Joe Love, I'm like, am I intimidating? And he's like, a little bit. And I'm just like, geez, I didn't ever think of myself as an intimidating person, but I guess it can be. Yeah, and live at a former MAGA. See, and and bringing on he platforms former MAGA. That irritates me a little bit. I don't think we should be talking to them. You should be talking to the new voices like me. But I'll give him credit if he does bring me on. He's got to bring him on. She folded to the corporate den. She's not presidential. Wow. Okay. This is what I want you to understand. My perspective after the election in 2024 is way different now than it was then. And they were within that old school mentality. I had to break out of that old school mentality too. I don't fault Kamala for that, and I don't blame her. Blue MAGA has been trying to scapegoat Kamala Harris because Blue MAGA is a bunch of racists. And this is why they have that narrative, that Democratic narrative. Oh, we're not ready. It's offensive when Democrats say that they're not ready for a black woman. That's offensive. Democrats can't say that. And all the Democrats that do say that are the problem. I do not believe that Kamala Harris is the problem. I think she is a person of integrity. I think she got bad information and pressure. She was only the vice president. I think the president overruled her. She was in that unique position. And you can tell when you read her book, she was coming to it. I think we can accelerate her process. I would love to see Kamala coming on to shows like mine if she gave me the opportunity to talk to her and let her know who she's got behind her. But we have to put extreme pressure on Blue MAGA. And I think Kamala's a good, and the other thing everybody needs to remember, I believe, my deeply held personal belief is that Kamala Harris is the legitimate president. So without question, the fastest way out of this mess we're in now is to start doing some investigations into the 2024 election and restore her to power and hold everybody in power who participated in rigging the election, including prominent members of the Democratic Party who did nothing. And we have to hold them accountable, and we have to restore Kamala to her rightful presidency, because without question, I believe she is the legitimate president. And I don't understand why people don't feel comfortable in saying that. I mean, because the Republicans said that all throughout Biden's term. Why shouldn't we be allowed to say the same thing? Because our position actually has evidence to support it. Yeah, I've been saying Blue MAGA a lot, William. I wrote an article about that a couple weeks ago. Courtney says, you're not intimidating, you're passionate. Whole different vibe. I appreciate that. But I think I am intimidating to corrupt people. I think I scare them. And that's fine. Is there an official progressive party? There are some, but I mean, I think the primaries, voting out the corrupt Democrats is our best action right now. This is ongoing. We've been discussing a lot of different ways to make our whole government more progressive. Platform, like all we can do, we got limited things. Don't be so big. Just focus on this. One congressional candidate, one creator, and you interview them. I mean, there are these candidates that are in races with 30 other people. They've never talked to anybody. This is a great way to elevate your platform. Have a real political discussion with a political candidate. You'll learn a lot. I've learned a ton. All the candidates I've talked to have been absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. People of integrity. You'll be amazed at how high a quality there is. Plus, we're normalizing this idea that our representatives should come and talk to us. So let me keep going. He was hearing a Blue MAGA group that kicked him out when he mentioned primarying the older ones to make room for new voices. David Hogue. That was from Tamar. Yeah, David got the shaft, and he's been wonderful. He's one of our best activists right now, without question. I would love to talk to him anytime. Joe says, my friends here in LA are split between loving Newsom. Newsom's awful, and being disgusted at him. He disgusts me not running for Congress, obviously. Newsom is another example. He will spend time platforming Bannon and Charlie Kirk and all these right-wingers. And Newsom could meet, but if Newsom wants to talk to me, he's welcome to come talk to me. Just ask yourself this. I mean, we got a nice group here. But I'm deliberately suppressed. Just a couple of these prominent Democrats, if they would just talk to me for 15 minutes on their phone, elevate dramatically my platform, that makes me more effective in getting Democrats elected. They deliberately don't want to do that. They deliberately don't want to. They are suppressing me. So people like Newsom are making the choice to interview people like Bannon rather than people like me. And so that's why I'm not in favor of Newsom. Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Listen to why Lev brought on. Yeah, Suze, that's good. But I mean, I really do want the focus to be on new voices that aren't former MAGA. I think that bothers me. I do want, I'll give Lev credit. He's the one who has been platforming Ellie Leonard. Ellie's has as much integrity as is possible for one person to have. Ellie is just wonderful. And Lev has done a lot to elevate her. And so I give him all the credit in the world for that. But I do want to just drop this idea. These former, like people like Adam Kinzinger, it's that old school mentality, and he wants to establish that false choice. We have a better option. We have multiple better options, and they just want to pretend all that stuff doesn't exist, and we have to move away from that mindset. Thank you, MLR. You're a good person and walk the talk. I do my best, and I mean, it's been a big effort this week. We made a lot of progress this week. Purple Haze, if they're afraid to talk with you, then they perhaps should rethink the whole thing. Well, they're in control, see, and they're trying to maintain an unjust structure. They're corrupt is what they are. Anybody who doesn't want to talk to me is pretty corrupt, I think. And we can make that established. As we establish using Substack as a platform to interview these candidates and change our discussion about government. You watch the legacy media, and the way they present every issue is just completely wrong. There are just multiple approaches they could make that would be actually helpful. And they are very deliberate and very limited in what they're even willing to talk about. And we can shake that off where they don't have this control of the narrative. And that's what scares them. It really scares them. Yeah, everybody's agreeing with Purple Haze. Good. Yeah, we can't scapegoat Harris. I mean, it's wrong to do that. It's just wrong to blame the black woman pretty much every single time. To be absolutely honest, I can't think of a single time where the right course of action is to blame the black woman. Every single time. All the wonderful creators I know on Substack, they are the best of the best, and they've taught me so much. So I continue to have faith in her. I don't like that she's on this book tour. I mean, I'll be honest about that too. I mean, I think she should be out protesting at Dilly. I think she should be talking to me. I think she should be doing a lot of things. But if she comes around and wants to talk to me, I think she can be influenced. That's kind of what Natasha K said about it. There are those that are corrupt. There are those that are working on our side, and there are those that are kind of undecided, but who have integrity at their base, and they can be influenced. Something I said yesterday, people of integrity are easier to be fooled, because people of integrity make assumptions that the people that surround them also have integrity. My wife always says, this is my fault, that I give, one of my faults is that I give people too many second chances and third chances, because I assume that everybody's going to be good. And my wife knows darn well that people aren't good. I'm talking to Kate Justice later today, Danielle. Good. Yes. Fantastic. Harris needs to address that hand count. Yeah, I mean, she needs to do that. But I think what happened is Harris is surrounded by a bunch of corrupt people, consultants, like James Carville. You got these just awful people in the DNC. And I think they just pressured her and they gave her bad information. And she hadn't yet had that moment of awakening where she recognized the level of corruption she was surrounded by. And I hope she understands that now. We all have to understand that. And we have to, I mean, I just firmly think if Harris comes to our side, that would make me stand up and cheer. I think she's fantastic. I think she's not quite been informed yet of what's going on. And many of us see it, but we are all deliberately suppressed. My voice is suppressed. I mean, so you can't expect her to know what I have to say. MLR, you're both, and I love the passion and intimidation to push us all forward. We have the power. Deidre says Newsom is a huge problem. Yep, Danielle, I'll be talking with Kate Justice today. I hope I still have voice. I'm getting all riled up already. Courtney says Zev and Ellie started working together, and Lev definitely elevated her visibility. Really glad. Her findings are getting out there. Kate Justice. Yeah, I've been reading. Kate Justice, her stuff is so extreme. I mean, it's impressive. She covers so much ground. It's hard to digest what she writes. Right on. Okay, good. Day Memestra is I like that positive comment. Courtney says, yeah, posting about her book tour success during a crisis. And you know what, Courtney? It wasn't her, I bet. I bet it was, she's got some PR team that's probably trying to sabotage her. She's probably got a PR team that's filled with blue mega that wants to see her suppressed. So, we got to bring that to our attention too. I would like to ask Kamala Harris that question. Most of these celebrities aren't in charge of what they post. Newsom wasn't in charge of anything he posted about his effective campaign against MAGA, so that's important to keep in mind. MLR says Dem mods are pushing out their primary left challengers. All 4 Senate challengers to Booker are now gone. Yeah, damn it. They want them. They pressure them to quit, and I wish they would not. We deserve to have choices. The people in the districts deserve to choose who represents them. And we have to bring this out into the light. I would like to talk to these Senate challengers and hear who called them and who told them to step down, because we need to have primaries. And when the Democrats are stopping primaries, they are being anti-democratic. They are being fascist. Blue MAGA can't stand in the way of primaries. That's why we can't win. Again, one candidate wins the primaries. All the others have name recognition. They can run for school board. They can run for county clerk. They can run for state seats. We get a whole generation of prominent Democrats, good candidates. And it's that the DNC establishment deliberately suppresses the ability of other good candidates to get name recognition or to be taken seriously is very offensive. And that's why Republicans run basically every level of our government. The Democrats have this soft opposition to progress, and they don't want to install healthcare, and they don't want to install all these things. And we see it because there have been times where the Democrats had a 60 vote majority in the Senate. They could push through whatever they want. They should do bill after bill after bill after bill. And they chose to delay. That happened during the Obama presidency. And I feel the Democrat, the blue MAGA, they deliberately dismantled Obama's grassroots mechanism that got Obama into power. I think there are members within the Democratic Party who are as racist as anybody on the right, and they deliberately suppress the rise of progressive ideas. Well, let's just say it. Let's have questions. And this is why they don't want to talk to me, because I would ask them these questions. They want to pretend that's not the case. Oh, well, we got to work with people that disagree with us. Okay, work with me. I disagree with you. Work with me. Model it. They don't. Yeah, all right. Deidre says black women have long been the mules of the country. We cannot win no matter what choices we make. I'm inclined to give Kamala all the space to make the choices she needs to. Yep. And I think Kamala is I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. I apologize for that. Kamala is surrounded by these blue MAGA who present themselves as friends. They're giving her bad information. I think she's got a lot more power than she knows even. I think she has a lot more support than she knows. And honestly, I mean, there's that argument of, yeah, we can't ask people to do more, but I mean, look what's happening. We're looking at the end of the world, frankly. And so that's kind of out the window. I think we need to pressure everybody to do everything they can right now. And she has got huge power. She has got huge power. I wish she would just separate entirely from the establishment Democrats. If she would hey, wouldn't that be wonderful? I was listening to my wife because I just wrote to Kamala yesterday. She was just like, if you sat down to talk to her, I would cry. She said, and then we could bring in progressive candidates like Francesca Hong, and all of a sudden we win the governor of Wisconsin. And yeah, I think that's what we have to do. But we're a ways from that yet. Right now, all I need is for people to interview other people. But yeah, it is. It's people like Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams. I think the Democrats are mad at Stacey Abrams because they gave them control. She gave them control of the Senate. So then they didn't have any excuses. They couldn't sit there and say, well, we didn't have enough votes. It's like, you did. You had enough. You had enough power to do anything, and you didn't. Yeah, Neuro says Harris has no security detail as Trump pulled that. She does have that to think about. Yeah, but she's sitting on piles of money. She's okay. She could hire. And I don't think that's why she should be live streaming herself 24 hours a day. If something happens to her, we'll see it. Then it can't be hidden. I mean, secret police are threatening to murder my kids. So I feel like I am a supporter of Harris. I love Kamala Harris. And I'm just going to continue to say this. I don't want to listen to the arguments of why people shouldn't be doing more. Everybody should be doing more, I think. She's got a break with Act Blue and DNC. Yeah, I think that would be great. If she came forth as the leader of the presidents, I mean, that's, again, you guys are talking to me. This is way outside the realm of what the mass of the population is willing to think about, hopefully between now. But we're critical. I mean, we're putting this pressure on. If you want universal health care, these are the actions we have to take. We agree on just about everything, which is why I follow you. Mimi from Las Vegas, not trying to give you a hard time. Okay, thank you. Sometimes the comments come across as more hostile than is meant. So thank you, Mimi, for that affirming message. MLR, NJ has no choice now. Here we're all, New Jersey. They're all gone. Lisa McCormick, Saxon Callahan. I wrote to Chris Fields. Chris Fields didn't get back to me. Yeah, Kamala. I just said it. I know how to say it right. I just got tongue-tied, so yes. Wisconsin is making a great comeback. I think Evers has done a good job within the context of what was expected of politicians during Evers, but I think somebody like Francesca Hong, the time is now, and we have to push that pendulum hard to the left. The time is now, and we're not going to get there with the status quo because the status quo got us here. That's just really what we need to do. MLR, I don't think Harris wants to be POTUS anymore. I don't blame her. I don't know what. I'll talk to her. I mean, if she wants to say that, we shouldn't assume what she wants or doesn't want. We'll see. Millie says, I don't think Wisconsin did anything wrong. I think Elon got involved. And yeah, I mean, the more I talk with these election people, there's so many different aspects to election interference. It's all over. And the states have a lot of power, but the part of the problem is the Democratic establishment doesn't even want to talk about this issue. And that's a mistake. We have to normalize talking about election integrity. Honestly, yeah, I heard her call the Mamdani of Madison. I think I probably called her that. Maybe that was in that, or I was kind of comparing her to AOC. But the states, the Democratic establishment doesn't even want to talk about election interference. We have to change that. They have an obligation to protect our elections. It's an abdication of their duties to not ensure we have free and fair elections. Elections need to be evaluated every year. There's been talk that some of these malicious software was installed back in 2015 and they've done nothing. You need to go through completely the whole election software mechanism before every election. You don't just do it and let it sit for 10 years. I mean, this is absurd. And the fact that we claim that we have intelligent representatives and they're just not even looking at this issue, how does that happen? And the only explanation I can get to is how that doesn't happen is that they're being subjected to the lies of consultants who are corrupt. And I mean, Carville is one of them. His corruption is pretty open, and yet he has power within the party. And it's not an easy thing to go stand up against somebody who's respected within the party or within the establishment. And that's where we come in. We have to be the ones that overwhelm the lies that they tell and make it just common knowledge what they have to do. It has to be us that pushes the Democrats. It can't be us expecting to listen to the Democrats. We can't allow them to validate us. We validate them. It's backwards. We have to take the power, and it's all in your head. The first thing is, what is your approach to these things? And the reason everybody's frustrated and they feel helpless is because they're kind of living on this expectation that's imposed upon us, that we can just vote for status quo Democrats and they'll do something when we know they can't. So just accept the truth. Look at all the facts the Democrats are trying to make us forget. They say blue no matter who, but they turned against Mamdani. They say all we have to do is vote for them, but we gave them all the power they needed after the 2020 election. So we have to look at a different narrative. Their narrative collapses under its own weight. What they're saying is not the truth. When they say we have to reach out to people that we disagree with, they should be reaching out to me. They should be modeling it, and they do not. So none of what the Democratic establishment says is true. And so our response is, one congressional candidate, one creator, and you. And we find these new congressional candidates, we elevate their voice, we change the dialogue, and some of them are going to win. Some of them are going to win primaries, some of them are going to win general elections, and we're going to start seeing change. But we can't expect that there's going to be a blue wave in the midterms. We can't disregard the primaries, expect a blue wave, and think everything is going to be okay. That's not how this is going to work. Put that out of your mind. That is not possible. The only way we're going to make this work is this: everyone here in this chat changes how they think about these things, and we push forward and we insist on progressive Democrats who replace the existing incumbents. Don't buy their lies. When they say electability, we have to make them stop saying that, because that is a bigoted and misogynistic and racist thing to say every time the DNC says it. We can't allow the DNC to be racist. We can't allow them to be misogynist. We have to call them out on it. And when they get in with you have to support us, otherwise you get them, we say, no, we are not going to tolerate racists. We are not going to tolerate racism. It's not enough for the Democrats to say they're anti-racist. They have to be actively anti-racist. And that requires action. And they can do something today, like kick James Carville out of the party. They should be kicking Fetterman out of the party. There's a lot of actions that they can and should be taking. On March 5th, 4 Democrats voted with Republicans to allow the war to continue. Sorry about the light. And we had enough seats. The voters gave the Democrats enough seats to stop this war back on March 5th. But Democrats voted with Republicans. And then we're just not supposed to talk about that? I'm sorry. I don't know why this is doing that. I'm going to pull down my shade. Somebody said I got to watch out for the flashing lights. But it's us. It's us. We have to change the conversation. We can't default to what they've imposed on us to think. And that requires recognizing what they've imposed upon us to think and recognizing there are alternatives to what they're saying. We don't have to vote in the establishment Democrats. We can vote in progressive Democrats, a whole new generation. The primaries is where the fight is. Yep. And I'd like to see Kamala as Speaker of the House too, because that's one of the easiest ways to get her reinstalled as president. Because and you don't have to be in Congress to be Speaker of the House, and then we impeach the entire cabinet for treason, she would become acting president. IMD, I want them to talk about it. More pressure. Yep, the pressure. And they're feeling the pressure. Even if you get a law in place to normalize election auditing accounts going forward, that would be a huge step. Well, every state has a lot more power too. And I mean, we can apply pressure on the states, particularly states with blue governors. And that requires the federal Democrats are messing it up because they're just acting like there is no issue with election integrity, even though that's literally the only thing the Republicans ever talk about. So we have to be pressuring our Democratic state governments to make sure all of the election equipment is sound and not just, like performative stuff. Really get in there. And if they find evidence of tampering, we have to hold those people accountable. That'll make them scared. Yeah, got to apply a lot of pressure, and that we got to fight against blue MAGA. Blue MAGA, the fascists within the Democrats, the corrupt Democrats. There are corrupt Democrats. Cuellar's corrupt. Fetterman's corrupt. Cuellar got a pardon from the Republican, orange skid mark, as I call it. Corny, Walter, I've heard the machines have been corrupt since Florida 2000. Yeah. and we don't talk about it. We need to make this an issue. MLR, I only make the leap about Harris not wanting to be POTUS because of the vast top leadership vacuum open over the last 15 to 2 months. I don't know. I can't peer into her. She's still, it feels as if she's still maintaining a certain outdated decorum. I don't really fault her for that. A lot of them are taking a wait and see approach. As a writer, because as a writer, there are things that I believe that I haven't really written about yet because the audience isn't ready to hear them. I'm setting the groundwork to make the audience ready to hear them. And I think as a politician, you're a step back from where I am, certainly. And that's why, kind people have said, you should run for office, but that's not for me. I need to be the guy pushing the Overton window. This is the place for me because I get to talk about these things. When I was talking with John Lucioni yesterday, I kept having to remember that he's trying to win in a red district. So I'm like, here's my progressive ideas. And he's just like, well, this is what I'm doing. And I'm like, I don't quite agree. But he's thinking it's like practical matter. He's canvassing a district trying to actually win, right? So he's got a better sense. We have to trust the people canvassing these districts. Rokana and AOC give me hope. No PAC money good. Millie Jones says, I think every law needs to be revisited. Anything over 50 years old needs to be considered irrelevant. It is not supported by voters. We do need to stop, because a lot of these laws or a lot of these traditions are from a reality that no longer exists. So there's a lot to that. There's a lot of laws, though. That's the other thing. That would really cause a lot of effort. Peggy says, if the government can automatically register all 18-year-old men for the draft, they can and must automatically register all eligible voters. Yep, that's absolutely true. Deidre says, amen regarding electability. Yep. Deidre says, no transphobia or ableism either. Absolutely. Ongoing, I wrote my article this week on Thursday about how we have to get out of that habit of using certain words. People are in the habit of blaming the president's cruelty on a mental decline, and that's inappropriate because he made the deliberate choice to be an evil person a long time ago. And the cruelty is not because of his incapacities, his disabilities. His cruelty is his choice. He's a bad person. There are plenty of people who have disabilities who are wonderful, wonderful people. And we have to constantly emphasize that. We want to scapegoat everything in this country. We have to stop scapegoating it. The reality is this white supremacy movement is cruel. And that's just invisible. We constantly blame everything. Even when people say that school shootings are a mental health issue, that's ableism. Can't let them say that. That is an insulting thing to say because school shootings are a white supremacy problem. Courtney says George was right about a lot of things. We move forward together. Yeah, we're getting better, and I appreciate and that's absolutely it. And I'm feeling this better too. I'll misspeak, and people will correct me, and I appreciate that. We do better. We get things right. We move on, and we stay together. I was disagreeing with John a little bit in the talk yesterday. That's fine. We can have academic disagreements with people who are committed. On the baseline of let's protect our kids from pedophiles, we 100% agree. If we have differing agreements on how to make that happen, well, that's it. We talk them through and we come up with a better strategy that probably takes a little bit from both sides. As I was talking with Elizabeth Silic LaRue yesterday, we can't reach across the aisle to people that believe, horrible things, that they believe in the oppression of humanity. We can't work with them. Those groups must be opposed. And that's the fundamental problem with our blue MAGA, because they are perfectly happy to reach across the aisle to white supremacists, but they absolutely cut people like me off, and they cut off the progressive challengers, and they pressure them to drop out of races. All that has to be changed. 18 Dems voted for it. I don't know which one that was. Oh, was that the one about the registering people? Yeah. Neuro says, I would love to see you on a live stream with disability community. Okay, let's set it up, Neurodivergent. I would love to do that. There's a lot I need to know about that too. And I've gotten a lot better. I started with the anti-racism work, and it takes effort, and as a white person taking on the challenge of anti-racism, there's a lot I have to learn. And there's a lot of cognitive biases that you have that you don't even know you have. And then you step on people's trauma. And over the years, I've gotten better at it, but I've needed to be corrected, get better at it, have these conversations. And in this last year, I've done a lot more work. I've always been a activist in favor of the LGBTQ plus community, but in this last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot more people within that community and learn the language better, and they gently correct me. And I need to be the allies when I make a little mistake. We need a little bit of grace, because it's not intentional, because we are all conditioned with this cruelty, and we have to deliberately shake it off and be instructed. And so this is happening in these conversations. Just about every live I do, somebody corrects me on something. I thank you for that. I will try to do better. And it's like, it's ongoing. And I will make the same mistake again because it's the process of fixing your mind takes time too. And I'm being deliberate. And I think you'll see me catching myself and being more deliberate in my word choices and my pronunciation. But then I get, speaking quickly like I did when I mispronounced Kamala. And it's just because I'm speaking quickly and trying to get my ideas in order. And it's not because I'm trying to intentionally or deliberately to be disrespectful. And it's ongoing. We're all getting better. And we are getting a lot better at where the collective is coming closer. We're not so easily divided because what we're up against now is so enormous and awful. Jason sent a portrait. Oh, that's fantastic. I'll look forward to seeing that. MLR, your points of Harris observing decorum well taken. The seat of political power may still be open to her. I think she is, my deeply held personal belief is that she is the legitimate president and that we need to put her in office. And that's the quickest way to end all this. I'm about to wind down here. So no more comments. Thank you. PJ says, Ken M's, we have opened our eyes about our corporate owned Dems. We absolutely do. And that's the one congressional candidate, one creator in you. We got to spread it. You bring somebody else into the fold, that's another person who's out interviewing candidates. I cannot interview every single congressional candidate. I physically cannot. I will collapse. I need everybody on here with any kind of a platform from 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000, however many. Sky's the limit. If we could get Heather Cox Richardson interviewing Francesca Hong, she'd become a national celebrity then. And that's the most powerful thing Heather Cox Richardson could do right now. And I don't think Heather Cox Richardson is a bad person. I just don't think this has occurred to her. So those of you who support her and subscribe to her, if you have her ear, tell her to go interview Francesca Hong because Ro Khanna just endorsed her. Do it. Get involved in these primaries. Biases are not cognitive, but they are more socially connected. Oh, I said the word. What is that word? Isn't that the word that they say? Isn't it cognitive bias? Isn't that the maybe I got my word wrong. That seemed like I said the wrong word when I said it. So thank you, Neurodivergent. I guess that's just that phrase. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Thank you, Neurodivergent. The system ones are. I haven't seen it. I'll check my DMs. He'll get there. We'll get Jason more subscribers. He's so good. Is that somebody is. He makes my stuff look like preschool doodles. Yeah. I think your stuff is great too, Neurodivergent. Adding a new comment just because Walter says to stop and I'm feeling spicy. I just have to go have some honey because I'm about to talk with Shane and Arturo, who I love very deeply. And I love all you guys too. So thank you for being here. Okay. So I did say the right thing. Cognitive bias is a thing. So thank you. Okay. But social conditioning plays a bigger role in the systemic ones. Sometimes I think there are unfortunate common use phrases that cast aspersions on mental health, and just it's a poor word choice, but it's in common use. So I think that's the answer there. Yes, social contributing is the thing. Confirmation bias, yeah, but it's usually called that because when you are conditioned to behave a certain way and you say things that are racist and you just think that's the way things are, you have to be called out on that. All right, good. Neurodivergence got me taken care of. I'm gonna leave it now. I'm gonna have a little bit of Neuro says it's messy just like anything social. It's okay. Thank you, Neurodivergent. We gotta have these conversations. Amber says such a good day to have a light workload. Guess I'll be on Substack all morning. Well, I'll be here all day. I'm gonna go talk with Arturo and Shane in 27 minutes. I'm gonna go drink a little bit of coffee with honey so I can prepare my voice. I'm on with Kate Justice at noon. And then I'm going to be talking with Ben Ulancy and Sugar Ree at 1:30. All these are central times. So I'll be here all day. And you guys are sick of it. I've done. Yeah, it's been this whole week. It's been like 6 hours of lives every day. So I'm sorry for overwhelming your inboxes, but there's just a lot to say. And I feel this is the moment. I feel it right now. These primaries are critical. Get all the people out there interviewing these candidates. And we made just in this week, we made progress I could see. And I mean, it was big erosion this week. And we'll take a big bite of it out of it next week. So I'm taking off. Thank you guys. I love you guys all so much. I really appreciate all the comments and the support and the interaction. So thank you for being here. It's been, I should give the pitch because it's been a little bit slow this week on these the sponsorships, the paid sponsorships. I think it's a lot of it's because all my wonderful people are going and supporting these candidates, and I do appreciate that. But if you guys can upgrade and become a paid supporter of this, that really helps. But yes, we got to support the candidates first, probably, because we need to get universal health care. So, well, yeah, okay, Jason. Yeah, Jason. I hope Jason do a post of all your wonderful pictures. They're really great. I do really. That's the nicest way to feel loved and seen. All right, thank you, everybody. Love you all. We'll talk to you soon. Talk to you later on today. Have a good one.